Dalam BuzzPOP hari ini, kita bakal membincangkan siri animasi My Hero Academia Season 5, episod 10. Para panelis kita malam ini daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV, Kaki anime kita Shazli American,
Yo.
serta what's up bro, serta Kaki manga kita Andri Alwi.
Konnichiwa.
Hey bro. Hi. Okay, wow, such a awesome episode minggu ni. It's like, yeah, I think pada aku this is the best episode yet this season.
I think this is the first time kau watch it more than once kan?
Yes, aku tengok 3 kali.
Macam aku dah biasa tengok 3-4 kali, so it's like it's normal for me.
Kita akan mulakan perbincangan kita malam ini dengan reaksi satu ayat. Okay guys, so reaksi satu ayat aku adalah jeng jeng jeng. Kita nampak battle number 5 di antara kelas 1A dan 1B bermula dengan Deku perlu hadapi double threats Monoma dan Shinso. Pada waktu yang sama, judul episod minggu ini berkaitan dengan roh kesemua pemegang kuasa One for All sebelum ini, Vestiges, yang terus menghantui Deku dengan revelation baru. Shaz, apakah reaksi satu ayat kau terhadap episod minggu ini?
We got 6 more bro. 6 more. Dia ada 6 lagi unrevealed power, which is actually a point of discussion because there was 8 predecessors. So I'm beginning to understand a bit on the what is the 2 powers that he already has. Tapi nanti itu kita boleh discuss.
Kita bincang lagi dalam segmen yang berkaitan dengan revelation. Andri, silakan Andri. Reaksi satu ayat terhadap episod minggu ini.
Enlightening. I think this is the most enlightening episode for season 5. And I think it's so far, the best for me actually. A lot of things got answered. There were action, and I had a few things that I like and a few things I don't like about this episode. But overall, it's like a 9 out of 10 for me.
Solid.
Agree.
Cool. Okay, sebelum kita ke segmen kita yang seterusnya, ada satu komen daripada penonton di rumah daripada YouTube. Arif Fikri Arifuddin mengatakan reaksi 2 out of 7 unlock ke 2 out of 8. Kita bincangkan dalam segmen kita tentang Deku nanti. 2 out of 7 ke 2 out of 8. Yang tu aku congak aku selalu off.
Macam typo.
Maybe. Kategori The Great mengatakan Deku tengah berserk all class A. Deku ada kuasa baru doh.
Alah, student dia orang mana nak ingat benda ni kan? I mean, general training ada power baru.
Yes. Favorite aku ialah bila Monoma cakap, "Kimak, dia ada satu lagi kuasa. This is getting old fast."
Nyampah betul.
Monoma geram gila tu. Iqbal Lee mengatakan the most anticipated episode yet. Yes. Aku tak anticipate but I really enjoyed episode 10. Dan
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's it. Okay, dengan
Reaksi
itu
satu ayat.
reaksi satu ayat dia wow. Okay, dengan itu kita akan membincangkan 5 plot menarik daripada episod minggu ini. Okay. So, kalau kita start daripada cold opening, kita dah, I think for the past 9 episodes, kita asyik like join training arc, you know, battle. Tiba-tiba dia macam, kita kat mana ni? Kita dekat tengah-tengah laut ke apa? It seems that episode ini bermula di lokasi di mana All for One kini dipenjarakan ya. Pak Guard semua nervous dan harap dia dibicarakan di mahkamah secepat mungkin. Kerana mereka takut kroni-kroni All for One bakal crawling back out of the woodwork. Dia ada satu quote yang pelik ya. Supposedly a Charlie Chaplin movie quote. It's not like one murder makes a villain, a million a hero. Yang tu aku macam Jadi persoalan aku kepada para panelis ialah mengapakah All for One mengatakan bahawa I can hear my little brother's voice? Dan apakah quote Charlie Chaplin tu yang aku tak faham langsung? Is that like a manga thing Kita mulakan dengan pembaca manga kita, Anri. Silakan.
Okay, I had to do some rethinking after watching this episode. I think in the past, BuzzPOP punya episodes, I mentioned with the reason why we cannot see these two vestiges is because I believe one is retaining the spirit, and the other one is basically trying to keep it all to. One is retaining the spirit, and the other one is actually helping with the cultivation of the vestiges. But I think possibly one of the vestiges is actually him. All for one, because
What?
you have to. It is my theory. It's not proven in the manga yet, but after
Okay.
some time, I think it's him, because we don't actually see these two. One of them could be the guy who keeps all the spirits together, make them hereditary, and so on. And I think there's a possibility.
Oh,
It could be him because he gave his brother the power.
So he is
and
the first.
Possibly because
Because,
remember,
yeah.
the brother was powerless, and he
Oh,
gave it to
yeah.
him so that he can accumulate power. After it has reached the maximum, he'll probably take it back. I think that's my theory on it. Actually, it pays a lot of. When I read the manga, the transition between manga and anime for this episode is 10 out of 10. It's great. It's better than the manga for me. I read it. I saw it. I saw the story being told better in the anime. I believe I may be right on this, but if the author corrects me and I'm wrong, you have to admit my theory is pretty much, there's a lot of
It
basis
sounds
for that.
It sounds
Yeah.
cool, tapi aku nak sangkal kau. Kalau kau tengok vestiges ni are meant to be spirits of previous one for all holders yang dah mati. Dah mati. You see, that's why kita tak nampak All Might as part of the vestiges, right? Do we see All Might in there? Is it the
Not
yellow
yet.
one? Right. So even All for One tak mati lagi. So it cannot be that he's one of the vestiges, right?
But here's the thing. Mungkin he's not the vestige lah, but that one for all punya power, what it does is it takes a bit of the personality and power of every person who has had it in them, which
Except for All Might.
includes.
Except for All Might.
Huh? Tak,
All
tak,
Might,
what
All
I
Might.
mean-
Is he in there? Yeah.
tak, he's not in the vestiges, but everybody who has held it ever, kan, has they are the imprint on that one for all punya ability. So guess who was the second person to have this power? It's
Adik
all
dia,
for one. Because
little
I
brother
fully believe dia curi power ni from another person. Because he gave this power to his brother, betul tak?
Betul.
And that is not his core ability. But so bila dicuri daripada orang lain, the initial one for all punya wielder, it could be a vestige guy lah. So masa dia curi tu, all for one punya ability to hold and retain power and transfer power got imprinted on one for all punya power tau.
So
That's why you can transfer it, and that's why it can imprint and curi power semua orang.
adakah
Pasal
ini
kau fikir
macam Voldemort punya Horcrux? Aku nak cuba wrap my brain.
Tak,
Adakah
okay,
this is a small part of
penat
All for
sikit.
One that exists in One for All?
Okay, kita pakai
Okay,
pakai dadu.
let me add a bit more lah. I could explain Nick punya penyangkalan lah, but it would actually expose me to a spoiler about All Might's power, and I don't think I should reveal it right now. If you know All Might's power, you would know why I say that he doesn't appear in the vestiges. And what else lah nak cakap tadi?
Bukan power dia speed and power je ke?
Enhancement. Okay, right now there's 8 one for all punya users. What we see now is actually 2 powers, and it's not certain enhancement to from which person. Okay. Unless we see more of the powers, we can see which power belongs to who, and the identity of the vestige users will be much clearer. But for me, I believe right now that the first one is all for one, because you have to understand I remember the power of all for one and one for all kan are similar. It's basically a cultivation of power, except all for one curi, padahal one for all dia macam pass on. Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, I think one for all basically like his power is like 100%, but he knows that he can only grow so strong like this 100%. So he needs to increase by 200%. He has to give like 10% to his brother. After like 80 years, the inheritor of his power dia rampas balik. Instead of 100% balik, it probably like 200, 300%. So it's probably a long period type of plan actually to become much more
Wow.
powerful than he originally is. That's my theory. It's not confirmed yet,
That's like
but
a
that's
long
my take.
con. But it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
aku nak expand further on that.
Silakan.
I'm trying to get the hand right. Okay. So kalau katakan this is the original user of one for all, okay, some random dude lah. Masa the power was with him, power ni is just a matter of collecting ability and growing the abilities. But masa it was with him, the original, the first ever user, dia tak tahu what to do with it. So he doesn't do much lah. However, when all for one curi, then he realised the potential of this power, and secara tak langsung when is dalam all for one punya body lah kan, his ability to pass on got merged on it. So dia dah tukar daripada the original form, tukar jadi this version where you can transfer ke orang. So after that dia transfer ke adik dia. Bila transfer ke adik dia, all for one punya ability was stuck in it already. Dia dah ada kat sini lah. So mungkin he pass to the next user. Next user tu pun dia punya ability pun dah masuk, ditukar jadi form lain. But the original ability of this one, all for one, and adik dia who actually doesn't add anything, cuma he just duduk dalam badan dia relax je, macam COVID lah.
Yes, pasal adik dia dengan Deku dua-dua tak ada kuasa.
Betul. So, it goes to the next user, tukar lagi because now dia dah ada kuasa from the original guy, all for one, user ni, and now it's adding this one. Cuma, masalahnya, bila dia transfer from person to person, mungkin duration dia tak cukup. And it could have been that All Might punya ability was the one that cultivated it, because dah berapa tahun, 40 tahun kot All Might pegang benda tu. Daripada muda sampai dah tua kan. So, the amount of time he cultivated could have been the requirement for him to expand the core of the ability tu. That's why now when you masalahnya sebab All Might kan dia dah injured kat sini kan. So he can no longer have the ability or energy or power to trigger benda tu, kasi keluar. That is this one lah. Or the easiest answer is that benda tu akan menjadi, it takes a certain amount of time lah to grow. Wah, Mohd dia cucuk saya. Memang terkejut sangat. Dan sangat gembira because it explains why he becomes the number one hero in the future.
Soalan aku, what is up with that Chaplin movie quote? Was that some random bullshit macam, oh aku intellectual therefore I will drop this quote? It's not like one murder makes a villain, millions a hero. Like, what the fuck is that, man?
Itu aku tak tahu lah. Mungkin there might have been some translation error sebab aku tak check that quote. But yelah, I mean, if you look at it from a villain punya perspective, he might use that excuse. Alah, aku bunuh seorang je, doesn't make me a villain.
I think All for One is the one that kills a million.
Kan?
But he is not a hero. Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird lah untuk tengok cerita Jepun tapi kau quote daripada filem Hollywood. So aku macam
Tapi kan, korang perasan tak? Korang perasan tak? In that scene he was talking directly to the people in the security room.
Yes.
Dia bukannya just macam like gelak-gelak whatever, dia cakap, oh I can sense my brother and everything. He actually answered them. Meaning that All for One ni, he also has ESP punya powers or something that allows him to listen to other people punya chat lah, which was quite surprising because when I saw it again, then it was quite interesting lah. ASLM ni apa? Salam. Waalaikumsalam. Which, because you see, kalau you tengok dalam that room they had a lot of guns aiming at him. So kalau he activate any obvious power, they are authorized to shoot him. That's why All for One relax je. However, I'm pretty sure he could have put up some defensive matrix or magic or whatever to block all those bullets. But it was quite chilling lah when the security guard macam like, Mamat ni talking to us good and directly answering us tau. So that was the funny part lah.
Yang lagi menakutkan ialah nama dia adalah banduan 1541. Maksudnya ada 1540 banduan lagi ke? And like kalau All for One is one of them, yang lagi 1540 tu ganas juga ke macam mana?
Prison Break. Tak, you imagine lah kalau the prisoners kat situ is all the super powered punya criminals. Stain is one of them.
Yeah.
Mamat siapa Mamat Slime, the one yang capture Bakugo is one of them. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of them will not put hukuman mati tau. They were like saying, kenapa kita orang we need to speed up the process lah, nak execution and everything. So tu that one is too dark lah. Kalau my opinion kan, tempat macam Arkham Asylum, tempat macam ni kan, the storing of super powered unredeemable people to me is a waste of time patut just. But then we believe in imprisonment rather than
tak best lah cerita.
Kadang-kadang we need a punisher.
Yes.
In every universe.
A vigilante
kan, I mean, because you imagine the Batman punya excuse, oh, if you kill a murderer, the number of murderers does not change. Tapi the Punisher said, that's why aku bunuh semua. So tinggal aku seorang je lah murderer kan. So okay lah. I subscribe to that.
Okay. Kita ada beberapa komen daripada penonton di rumah. Pertama, daripada kategori The Crate, dia mengatakan, I think All for One is immortal. Good. Sampai dia boleh bagi one for all to the first user. Well, dia curi from the first user, lepas tu dia bagi kepada adik dia. The power wasn't All for One. Dia curi from somebody.
He stole from a lot of people. Could be immortality is one of them, or have cellular regeneration. We will never see the extent of his crimes, but we know that he can curi a lot of powers. I think he can curi until a certain limit. That's why I think his long plan giving his brother power is actually to break that limit. So immortality, I don't think real immortality is in his grasp, but something close to it is lah. You see him in the cell, right? You see him for what he is. Body's broken, mata basically melted, the eyelids. But he's like, this is just a state of my being. I'm not actually worried about it. Everything's like according to his plan. Everything is proceeding to his pace. So we don't know the extent of his powers. It's like, okay, they have him immobilized, but he's probably waiting for something to happen to make the most out of it, to get the most earnings out of it. So for me to say that immortality for All for One is a power that he currently has right now, I think that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Aku rasa All for One punya core ability is just the simple ability to curi. Dia boleh curi and then he can use freely. So initially All for One ni lapsap sebenarnya. It's like aku boleh buat apa doh, aku tak boleh buat apa-apa. It's just a super powered version of Monoma punya ni.
Yeah.
Because it's a permanent curi and then simpan and then can transfer. So macam like what do I do this? But because he got addicted to stealing, then he can he grow his limit lah. So Andri punya teori, there's two parts there. Firstly, aku agree that the one for all punya power is potentially a limit breaker for All for One.
All for One.
Because if you can have an ability which can store multiple ability, dia akan jadi macam Dungeons and Dragons punya bag of holding lah. You can put a bag, a magical bag that can hold a lot of things into another bag yang sama. Memang kau pecah lah dari segi powers. The second part is, honestly aku rasa All for One ni could have easily broken out.
Cuma dia tak
from
nak.
that place. Because you
Cuma
tengok kita tak ada we don't have this magical special thing like kalau kita compare dengan One Piece kan, you have batu laut tu which can immobilize all these devil fruit user. Dekat MHA punya universe tak ada tau. There is no special do that item which is like I can nullify your ability. Yes, there are users which can nullify abilities. There are users who can permanently remove it, as was the plot for season 4 or 3. 4. But this has never been administered to anybody by the heroes. So dia macam jadi sleeper agent lah. You're just waiting for the time for him to break free. And it's like you guys thought you were locking me down when I'm just here so that I can get access to the rest of the villains. And then mungkin there might be a massive prison break. Lepas tu pecah lah kepala. Because then there'll be another 200 episodes there or something.
Interesting.
Oh,
Persoalannya
nak jawab
dah berapa
kategori The Great ni, aku rasa dia immortal tapi bukan immortal macam Highlander. Dia boleh regenerate tapi tak boleh regenerate macam Wolverine ataupun Deadpool. That means dia dah, by the time he got the ability to regenerate, he cannot regenerate past that dah. Dia dah mungkin dah sampai tahap mata dah tentu, rambut dah hilang or whatnot kan. Baru he got his ability to regenerate. So he cannot jadi handsome balik, but he'll probably be like that forever lah.
Persoalannya dah berapa lama All for One ni menjadi super villain ya di dunia MHA? 50 tahun, 80 tahun, 100 tahun?
Prediction macam 80 to 100 years.
Ha?
I agree.
Ya betul.
I agree.
By theory. Because All Might has been holding One for All for, I tak ingat canon ke tak, 30-40 years kot.
At least 50 for my estimates lah. At least 50.
All Might ni tua aku tahu.
Yeah.
Dia sebelum ada Facebook, sebelum ada Apple phone, sebelum apa-apa benda lah. Perang dunia kedua lah basically.
Tak, you cannot put it that way because the first kid with the quirk, yang budak yang lights come out tu, was born in 20XX.
Oh, zaman moden. Okay.
Zaman moden. Yeah, so it was a modern time era, tetapi dia sengaja letak XX tu so that he can do whatever he want dari segi timeline.
Oh, faham. Okay. Kita ada komen kita seterusnya daripada Iqbal Lee. Dia berkata, All Might memang ada dalam Vestiges ya. Kalau korang boleh tengok balik episod time dia tunjuk semua Vestiges, dia sebenarnya yang colour kuning tu. Oh.
I disagree.
Okay, silakan. Apa pendapat Andri tentang Vestiges warna kuning tu is not All Might? Silakan.
I disagree. I think it's either the guy who holding out the cultivation of the Vestiges or All for One. unless I see the face of All Might there, I'm not convinced that's All Might.
So that means dalam
you might
manga
be
pun
right.
tak terjawab lagi lah.
Terjawab lagi.
Nice, good.
Mm.
That means
Manga.
a few years from now, soalan kita dengan Iqbali kan, kita akan terjawab. Kau ingat tak dulu Muhammad Iqbali tu kan, dia pernah komen letak gambar ni kan. Within 2 minit kan, tiba-tiba Iqbal komen lagi. Aku ingat lagi. Oh, he's still here with us. Oh, apa khabar? I'm looking forward to that day.
Weh, dah 200 chapter ke harapan, still misteri ni tak di-solve lagi.
There is some progress, but not
Hmm.
everything is explained lah. And you have to understand, All Might has 2 forms. Yang kurus, kering, sakit, or orang sakit punya form, and another one is
Muscle
the
form.
power muscle form. It doesn't look like any of those actually.
Okay.
That's my take.
Soalan seterusnya daripada Adib Eddy. Kenapa bila saya main game My Hero Academia, saya tengok kuasa All for One ada 2 jenis? Betul ke?
Okay, this game baru release Cuma
Betul.
aku rasa none of us main game ni sebab aku main game lain. Tapi it's quite popular lah sebab all the characters dalam tu, dia macam gacha game sikit kalau tak silap aku. But the characters memang is all rendered very well lah from the screenshots yang aku tengok. So untuk menjawab soalan Adib, rasanya kita tak ada jawapan. Sorry. Tapi kan, All for One, dia ada banyak power. Kita tak payah risau lah. Kalau dari segi story writing, dia punya limit kuasa tak pernah di-define. So dia nak letak banyak kuasa pun dia boleh letak.
Okay, interesting. Soalan kita seterusnya ataupun komen yang seterusnya daripada Mofah ya. Mofah mengatakan maybe yang mati adalah jiwa All for One yang asal. Aku rasa quirk All for One ni dah macam hidup. Sebab tu nampak dia macam just nak gunakan Shigaraki agar dapat badan yang baru. Dia dah macam level Emperor dalam Star Wars ni. Dia nak gunakan dia. It's like next level shit man. What do you think about this theory Brazil?
I think it has weight to it lah. Because if the power has been cultivated enough, it may attain its own consciousness, its own individuality. So there is a possibility that's what's happening to All for One lah. Maybe All for One originally mati and this power overtook him, or maybe they merge and become a new being. So it's not that far off. So I'm okay with it.
Tapi kan kalau kita compare dengan Harry Potter maybe benda tu dijadikan macam Horcrux tau. Because dia dah faham benda tu boleh imprint dia punya spirit, and then later on the spirit akan take over the entire thing. So when he ambil balik daripada Deku, of course that's not going to happen lah kalau that's his plan lah. Dia ambil balik dari Deku, imprint even further his personality, dia baling kat Shigaraki. Then the transfer will be complete lah.
Wow, tu dah transmutation dan transformation dah tu. Mofah juga menambah ya. Bila dia dapat badan baru, jiwa Shigaraki akan mati dan dikontrol penuhi oleh All for One. Just a
Biji
theory.
macam teori aku.
Menakutkan tu. Ni dah macam body snatcher sial. Seterusnya, Arif mengatakan, betul dah rasanya it's 2/7 bukan 2/8. Kerana Deku yang ke-9. Kalau Deku yang ke-9, mestilah 2/8. 8 campur 1 9 kan. Ke matematik aku fail. Deku dengan All Might quirkless. Jadi ada 7 je. All Might quirkless ke?
Kita kira. Was All Might quirkless?
I thought All Might it has that body mutation shit and strength.
Possible spoiler?
Okay, silakan. Shaz, if you don't want to hear, you can close your.
Apalah. We need to know this.
Okay, silakan.
To my understanding, All Might is quirkless.
What the fuck?
And
Serious?
the power yang he inhibits is from the past user. The best thing about All Might being the user is because he has been using it for a long time, and if you remember from this episode, Nana said it's not, she went to talk to the vestige. It's not time yet, and Nana became hero, and she died pretty young despite her age. That means she didn't have a chance to actually flex the muscle as much as All Might. All Might was hitting the hitting work day one full force his whole career. Even masa dia the last fight dengan One for All, it was basically macam one of the biggest fights in anime villain history for that particular series.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if he's doing it for like 20 years kan. Can you imagine how much flex muscle for the One for All punya power has seen growth. So yeah, I think Arif Kifri has spoiled the thing that I didn't want to mention earlier. So cats on the back. Yeah.
Tapi it's okay, because sebab then dia menjawab the soalan of why All Might ada muscle form, and he can always muscle form except after he run out completely after that fight.
Okay.
After the fight antara dia dengan All for One, he completely, tak silap aku, dia tak pernah muscle form dah.
Seterusnya kategori mengatakan One for All is concept origin user kena reda untuk beri redor untuk beri ke new user, sebab tu ada mimpi yang katanya masanya belum sampai. Rasanya yang ni kita akan bincangkan dalam segmen Nana selepas ni on the stack. Iqbal juga menambah, pening weh nak sembang pasal All for One ni.
Seronok. Kita boleh bersembang 20 tahun.
Okay, Mofa menambah, Horikoshi penulis ini sebenarnya pembaca Marvel dan DC. Dulu dia just pelukis je sebelum jadi mangaka. Jadi My Hero Academia ni memang dia inspired dari Marvel dan DC punya superhero story. Adakah Shazam? Nampak macam Shazam sikit lah. Kemudian Iqbali mengatakan Muscular pun dalam penjara, Stain pun dalam tu, semua high profile villain. Yes. Macam it is leading to a prison breakout tu. One for All ni first adalah quote yang useless kepada All for One. Sebab tu dia bagi je dekat adik dia, tapi dia tak sedar that quote will be used against him in the future.
Yang tu kita boleh debate. Sebab
kenapa
because All for One ni, he's a manipulator. Dia manipulate semua orang, ultimately for his own goals. So mungkin dia kata benda ni tak guna, so aku bagi kau, padahal benda tu kuat tau. So by being passed to the one person who hates him the most, which is adik dia sendiri, and then abang aku tak tahu benda ni ada kuasa yang sebenarnya sangat bagus. So he played the role of the si bodoh, so that the adik akan mencari worthy successor to pass on to jadi the unique quirk to fight his brother, padahal that could have been his plan all along. Kalau kita go dengan Andri punya theory of making a super vessel,
multiplier,
restore macam-macam quirk and then transfer kepada diri dia balik lah, in the end dia boleh curi balik.
Maybe. Arif Fikri mengatakan dia teringat dalam scene daripada movie ketika villain nak mencuri quote Deku tapi tak boleh. Is he talking about 9 from the second movie? Dia kata yang Deku ada potential untuk ada lebih daripada satu quote. Jadi saya assume existence Deku dengan All for One sama je. Boleh ada banyak quote. What do you think?
Memang this scene, now that Arif Fikri dah mention, memang is reasonable lah. Sebab that's why bila sebab dia ada vessel untuk multiple quote, dia tak boleh nak curi, because most quote users can only curi satu, whereas the one for all punya quote itself is a vessel, macam satu container. So his power of stealing mungkin tak sama kuat macam All for One punya power. Sebab kita pun tahu dalam My Hero Academia ni, dia ada banyak different level ability. Some people boleh curi sekejap je, some people can copy, some people can steal permanently. So aku rasa mungkin 9 punya power it's not as good yet lah.
Tak, kalau kau fikir, Nine kan ada satu slot je dalam movie you kan. Like he used up all 8 or something like that. He had one slot. So bila dia nak curi yang Deku tu, Deku's not just one power. Turns out Deku is multiple all for one powers. Sorry, one for all powers. So that's why slot dia macam tak boleh masuk lah babi.
Nine punya power pun was enhanced tau. Initially his ability was not that good. He masuk they stole some of all for one punya blood tak silap. Then dia orang buat, okay kita buat eksperimen siapa yang boleh simpan, who can accept dia punya ability. So Nine was one of the only ones that could survive the process lah. That's why dia selalu kena macam sakit all the time and always in pain.
Yeah. Throughout the movie ya.
Yep.
Okay, komen terakhir untuk segmen ini daripada Arif Fikri. Dia mengatakan rasanya tak spoiler kot sebab ada scene flashback Gran Torino sembang dengan Nana. Dia tanya kenapa dia nak bagi kat All Might yang codeless. Dia tak ingat season berapa. By the way, dia pun tak baca manga. So dia pun tak intentionally nak spoil.
Okay.
Tak apa, that means kita dah lupa, kita dah tua.
Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini kan. Kita akan membincangkan plot menarik kita yang kedua. So, plot menarik kita yang kedua. Can you guys see the overlay? I can't see it. Okay. So, yang kedua, still bukan tentang battle number 5. That's why I love this episode actually. Dia macam, dia tak masuk battle dulu, dia set up benda. So, kali ni Gran Torino call All Might untuk berkongsi bahawa pemegang kuasa One for All sebelumnya, Nana Shimura, pernah menceritakan tentang vestiges One for All yang menjumpainya dan mengatakan the time has not come yet. So, soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah yang dimaksudkan oleh vestiges ini kepada Nana? The time for what? Dan berapa lama dahulukah babak Nana ini berlaku versus zaman sekarang? Was it like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago? Kita mulakan dengan Shaz, silakan. This is a multi question.
This one aku rasa same back to kita punya understanding lah. That All Might punya umur tu dah berapa lah. Kalau katakan at least 20 to 30 years dia dah guna the power. So memang is quite far back lah. Kalau you tengok Gran Torino dia tinggi tau. Padahal dalam current ni dia pendek. Dia sama macam, there was one scene aku ingat, dia dengan Recovery Girl dua-dua tinggi. Lepas tu sekarang dua-dua dah pendek. So that one is exaggeration lah. But is bila dia orang kan as a lot of people they get older, kadang-kadang ada yang makin lama makin pendek kan. So it does reflect on how long
bongkok. Yeah.
Dia macam bongkok atau pendek lah. But kalau you tengok Recovery Girl dengan Gran Torino sekarang tua gila kan.
Yes.
Macam like dengan tongkat semua kan. Padahal when you see dalam those flashbacks dia standing tall macam like.
Yes. Dia macam sama level dengan Nana kot. Dalam scene dia sama, dagu dia sama level. Aku macam damn.
Yeah. So memang aku nak komen juga kau punya overlay tu lawa. Aku sengaja ambil snapshot mata dia kan.
Sebenarnya snapshot dia bukan saja mata dia tapi ada line dia, nanti aku hide ni jap. The time has not come yet.
Oh.
Yes. Tapi pasal kita ada overlay ticker jadi tak nampak. So nampak mata je. Silakan.
So di segi the second question yang the time has not yet come tu is the fact that dia orang tak boleh nak expand to all users lagi. Aku tak tahu kenapa Deku was the one where the thing dah expand, but it could have been all the time dia dah duduk dalam All Might. So the years and years dia cultivate, letak power dia kat dalam tu kan, secara tak langsung finally unlock the thing. So that's why Deku can use all the powers. Kalau kita tengok All Might tak ada whip punya power.
Actually kalau aku All Might aku pissed off macam Ultra Magnus. Macam open, damn it, open. Kenapa Pekimak Rodimus Prime ni yang dapat? Apa budak baru Rodimus Prime ni dapat? Aku tak dapat.
Dia hero.
All Might dah 30 tahun jadi hero kot. Dia tak dapat. Dia tak jumpa vestiges pun. He doesn't know what the fuck is a vestige. Kau perasan tak? Kau ada mimpi basah. Aku tak dapat pun. Dia macam pistol gila tu.
Tapi ada satu teori Brazil lah yang aku bila aku baca aku nak tergelak. The teori Brazil, kenapa now is the right time and kenapa Deku punya power, Deku is the one yang boleh unlock all the power, is sebab Aoyama bagi dia keju. And keju tu adalah keju yang power. So aku bila baca tu kan, ya Allah, janganlah bagi teori macam ni weh. Ini teori apa ni? Teori lapsap mana ni? But it's true. That's why All Might tak dapat unlock power tu sebab dia tak makan keju Aoyama. So aku tak tahu. Teori budak-budak kayak itu dia, aku tahu dia percaya.
Andri, apakah pendapat kau? Apakah yang dimasukkan oleh Vestiges kepada Nana tentang it's not time yet? The time for what?
I think at first I thought it was it has a lot to do with cultivation. Cultivation means basically the powers they mingle macam buat arak lah basically. Longer you hold it, better it tastes according to people who drinks alcohol lah. I think that's the concept of the power actually. The more you use it, the more you store it, the more it gets passed down, the better it is. And Deku is basically the most empathetic user so far. He's very sensitive. He's basically, Deku was quirkless, but Deku had one power yang banyak orang buat hentai kan actually take advantage of. He's very empathetic that the girls like him. I mean, just look at anyone dia jumpa tau. Kami suka dia. Not just even the enemy, Toga suka dia. And recently in the manga pun he can do the talk jutsu to the enemy. So he has the power to actually connect with people. So I think this is one thing yang All Might has a problem. All Might inspires people, but when it comes to macam nak build connection to people, right? I think it's not one of his strong points, and I think this is what triggers all the power users from the powers yang one for all try to release. It is his personality. It doesn't have to do with the power that Deku brings. It's just that he was someone who has emotionally can unite all those previous users to do the better good, to reawaken. That's my take on it. And as far as how old has passed since Nana jumpa dengan Gran Torino, I think it's like 20-30 years at least. Or Gran Torino looks like he was in the prime of his life, which is basically macam before 40. So 20, 30, 60, 70, that's a good guess lah on the punya age.
That's pretty cool.
Ada 2 point menarik aku nak tambah.
Silakan.
Firstly, yang the power one for all ni kita boleh anggap dalam setengah RPG games, especially kalau ada orang main game this gaya. The equipment pun equipment, skill semua ni pun ada dia punya own XP. So mungkin dari segi in terms of number of years and usage, the XP was needed lah. And Andri punya opinion tu is quite interesting, that you need somebody who can relate and understand different powers, which means all the users sebelum ni were not the type of hero that believe in the power of friendship can overcome everything. And they were not the type of person to like, oh power mamak ni macam ni. Kita kalau macam ni kita tambah macam ni sampai screen penuh tengah bla 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 bla. When Deku is the only one who is capable of doing that. Yeah.
You have to understand Nana has problem connecting with Shigaraki. And he's in the state because of the relationship between Nana and Shigaraki.
They actually cut off kot. Nana completely cut off dengan Shigaraki because dia tak nak dia kena targeted macam Spider-Man kan. Aku tak nak orang tahu my links with everybody else, so aku pakai topeng. So in Nana punya case dia potong terus without realizing by doing that Shigaraki got abandoned and kena lempang sini lempang sana.
Yes, because she focused more on saving people than actually saving him.
Yes.
So you can see how she is different from Midoriya. That's to say that Nana's a lousy person, a lousy grandmother. It's just that she made her choice, and that's not what she is. So memang it's not her role to be the final awakener or something.
Interesting. So kita ada 2-3 komen dari penonton di rumah. Komen pertama daripada Iqbal Lee, dia mengatakan dalam episod Gran Torino ada mention yang flashback tu time Nana baru dapat One for All. So All Might still budak sekolah time tu. Korang
Yes.
kira sendirilah berapa lama. Wow. Gila tu.
Ada satu episod yang lucu tau. Midnight tengah jalan sebelah dengan All Might. Aku rasa season ni kot. Lepas tu one student cakap, ini couple baru ke? Midnight terus cakap, aku tak suka orang tua. No. Aku like, weh, aku tahulah dia dah kecil kan, tapi janganlah macam tu lah.
Oh, Midnight hot though. Serious hot. Okay. Yes. Kategori The Great mengatakan, aku rasa yang One for All kena berkumpul kot sebab Deku je yang pernah masuk round table dengan One for All tapi tak boleh cakap. I think over time kuasa dia akan buat dia boleh bercakap kot. Seterusnya dia menambah, waktu Nana adalah era hybrid quote tak wujud lagi kot. Waktu tu hanya ada single quotes. Dan Todoroki adalah the first hybrid quote. Is this real, Andri?
I'm not sure. I didn't actually pay much attention to the hybrid quote, single quote. To me, even though they said that time tak ada hybrid quote, maybe it's just not recorded. I wouldn't take it at face value.
Okay.
I seem to recall somewhere where they do mention that they will inherit the abilities of their parents. So
yeah, is the quote relativity theory the one where over multiple generations,
yes,
the quotes will get more and more confusing because it's a kacokan of multiple quotes.
Yeah, but I don't think it's not the current generation of the budak-budak is not the first generation.
The fact that Endeavor knows that this thing is possible probably happens before, so it could have happened tapi tak recorded. So it's just a theory. I wouldn't actually take it face value.
Dia sengaja cari awet power ice kau tahu.
Macam ternak kuda.
Macam ternak kuda, Pak. Ataupun kau ternak anjing, nak dapat anjing yang cute kan. Okay, dengan itu kita akan ke segmen kita yang ketiga. Finally, dalam segmen ketiga, battle kelima akhirnya bermula ataupun about to bermula, di mana kita dapat backstory tentang Monoma ya. Sebelum battle fight bermula, Monoma memperkenalkan backstory-nya, di mana masa dia kecil, kawan-kawan dia cakap, you can't be a superhero with that quirk. Kemudian Monoma cuba ayat Shinso dengan villain-like dialogue ya. Aku akan bacakan. So Monoma mengatakan, we both know what we can't do. And we know we had to embrace both good and bad to survive. I like you. We're the same type. In order to become heroes, we must always act like heroes. If we don't, then we won't be able to win against power that can do anything. Like we're similar, but not exactly the same as what we admire. Don't you ever feel like that? Your hopes and dreams from when you were young slowly becoming a burden like a curse. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah motivasi Monoma bercakap sebegini dengan Shinso? Adakah Monoma secretly a villain in training, just waiting to happen sometime in future? Macam dia cakap nak kena jadi hero ni macam curse lah. Masa dia kecil orang cakap you will never be a hero lah. Lepas tu dia cakap kita kena balance good and bad lah. Is he trying to cakap like daripada kau nak masuk hero class, join aku masuk villain class lah? Apa pendapat kau, Andri, sebagai seorang pembaca manga? Silakan.
Okay, this hasn't been happening, revealed or stated in the current manga. But after watching this, I have a feeling like 20-30% Monoma ni anak haram kepada All for One.
Huh?
What the fuck?
You
Tapi
see,
betul lah, dia macam jahat gila loh. Cara dia cakap dia macam Draco Malfoy.
yeah, he macam it's a hinting that he will fall to the dark side one of these days, but it's too obvious. It could be ridiculous. But in anime, usually anime yang ada macam budak sekolah and then there's something serious going down the line. Usually the good-looking person who acts like an idiot has a deeper character storyline. So there's a possibility that he would turn or reveal himself to be macam, hey, my father's all for one, but he doesn't know that I exist. But I share his vision and bullshit. And it's probably a subplot or just extra drama for the show lah.
So this tak ada dalam manga ke apa? Ke dia lain daripada manga?
Macam belum resolve
No. He doesn't appear much in the manga. So it's just my theory, Brazil, as you see it. It could happen because manga now is entering into a very serious phase. So a lot of things may pop up. There's a possible storyline to actually enrich the whole series. And the punya line is basically macam one of my favorite storyline. You either live long enough to die as a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. So basically, I think he's smarter than what we all think. I think he knows the reality of being a hero. He probably sees a lot of his heroes becoming a villain, so he knows that Shinso punya view on heroism is actually a naive version of being a hero. So he just trying to shake him from his pedestal and probably show him the realities of being a hero, if that's really what he wanted to be lah. I think he's much more nicer than what he looks like an arrogant, boastful hero at the moment. But I think above all that, maybe below underneath, he has a kind heart, which is why dia punya classmate kan actually they don't feel like he's a burden. He annoys them, but they never actually fuck off. We don't want anything to do with you with your loud noises. So
okay.
My 2 cents.
It's like I think in the past few 9 episodes sebelum ni kita dah cakap tentang motivasi Shinso. Kan like banyak classmate cakap, apa kau nak jadi hero? Kuasa kau ni macam villain. And then bila Monoma buka cerita macam masa aku kecil pun orang cakap kuasa aku bukan kuasa hero. Aku macam kau macam nak cari connection je, nak buat member dengan Mamat ni. Macam kau nak buat League of Villains kau sendiri ke apa ni? Apa pendapat kau, Shaz?
Banyak boleh discuss tu aku cakap tu. Okay, firstly aku rasa Monoma ni this particular episode it brings a lot of redemption kepada Monoma. Okay, kita tengok all of the classmates, kau perasan tak? Semua power classmate tu dia tahu tau. Which means he cares for them. Dia boleh cakap lagi, it's like orang tanya should we change the plan now that kita dah based on fight number 4. Siapa lizard girl tu? Alah, aku tak ingat nama dia.
Tendo.
Tokage. Is it
Tokage? Peminat Tokage mesti maki aku ni. Kau tak ingat nama Tokage? Oh shit. But Tokage was the smart one. Monoma is also quite smart. It was never revealed. Tak silap aku yang dia ni student bodoh or student pandai. But you can see that he's very smart. Dari segi dia punya understanding of his teammate punya powers, the fact that he actually has to rely on his friends to capture power, to copy powers and simpan. And aku rasa Andri punya statement was quite interesting. That dia ni mungkin macam Deku Malfoy. His environment was unkind to him. So he become a budak. Hati sebenarnya baik tapi he put out a facade macam topeng lain. So this is Monoma, the realist Monoma. That's why aku tengok dia cakap relax je. Dia tak ada cakap macam gila-gila. Tak ada. This is him being somebody who is very honest. Dia cakap it's not about the intention, it's not about your power, it's how you use the power. Kita boleh tengok case in point siapa misal gentleman tu?
Oh yeah.
Gentleman dengan that girl yang ikut dia.
Yes.
Last season.
Gentleman was in in UA. He had a hero type power but because of dia punya story and everything, cara dia guna semua habis. Kalau you tengok all the powers, all the people, all the student dalam 1A dengan 1B, all of their powers can be used jadi villain. Ashido kalau jadi acid girl tu, kau bayangkan kalau dia baling kat orang je, mati kot. And then kalau you tengok the one yang Mamat yang Jairit, he can bring down entire buildings. The girl yang baru kita tengok yang can shrink items, kembangkan items, she can literally, kalau imagine if her power grew to the point where she can shrink a whole building, mati kot orang dalam. They just all the people inside will be just crushed to death. So this one dia kata, I think he is relating his past story so that dia dapat, dari segi storyline kita pun macam Monoma ni sebenarnya is a very deep character. But yang kita semua nampak is all how he antagonistic style, which actually kalau you tengok dia sebenarnya guna untuk kacau dia punya opponent sahaja. Dia dengan classmate dia cakap relax je. It's okay, we will shine, we are all the protagonists of our own story, kita ni supporting character of everyone in your story, but we are the protagonists. It's either somebody who is really looking to build up his own power base or memang dia ni sebenarnya budak baik. Whether he got the power to store ability from all for one tu tak tahulah. But kalau korang perasan dalam combat dia ada small pocket watch tau. So aku rasa dia punya power is he can copy up to 3 or 4. Aku rasa based on the number of dia pegang tu, that's the maximum he can store lah, 3 atau 4. 3 lah, he had 3 watches kan. Meaning mungkin dia tak ambil Shinso punya power.
Ya, macam dia gunakan semua of his buddies yang Mamat ada glass tu dengan 2 awet.
Twin impact,
ketikan benda, second impact dan.
So the thing is it might not be a time limit but it's a usage limit. So for every second he uses, benda tu akan hilang. That's why every time he guna, dia akan tengok balik dia punya clock tu. Dia akan take tak.
It's quite interesting yang siri ni ada banyak cerita tentang orang boleh ambil kuasa orang boleh pas kuasa orang. And then dalam movie kita tengok orang yang ada 9 slot. Yang Monoma ni pula dia ada 3 slot. So dia macam the same ideas being recycled ataupun macam it's like a poetry. It's like there's like a rhythm there, it's like kalau one for all all for one boleh ambil banyak, maybe 100, 1000 kita tak tahu. 9 hanya boleh ada 9. Monoma hanya boleh ada 3. So macam are they all interconnected? Is this part of the relativity theory eventually coming true?
The all for one punya power dalam lawan dengan All Might tak silap aku almost 20 to 30 powers he used up in his final super punch punya ability tu. So that was quite nasty the amount of things he can carry. Aku lupa nak mention tadi, mungkin kau tak perasan kot this one. Early on dalam one of the earlier seasons ni, they had this traitor in UA punya storyline.
What the fuck?
Where traitor in UA
Cikgu ke student?
It was never revealed, but all the teachers were talking and they said this is information which only the teachers had. And all the teachers were in attendance during that meeting.
babi ni macam Harry Potter lah. Ada budak jahat yang
Tapi
akhirnya
yang
membesar
lawaknya,
jadi Voldemort.
yang lawaknya, apparently the mangaka forgot about this subplot. So mungkin lah, I mean it's easy to just write it off that there was some infiltration power being used at some point. So mungkin dalam mangaka punya head pun, after he realised, aku lupa subplot ni, tak payah. Let all the fan theory, debate about it, so he just continue with his own storyline lah.
Okay.
Because kalau nak tengok, any of them could have been copied, because we got Toga punya ability that she can duplicate into anybody. So janji dia tak guna the powers in a way that you don't expect kan. She can easily infiltrate the school at any point of time.
Ya tu. Okay.
So personally, aku rasa Monoma is a good guy.
I don't know. This speech was too weird, man.
Kan?
Besides the Charlie
Tapi-
Chaplin speech dia ni macam apa? Siapa yang tulis skrip ni sial? Kenapa episod ni lain sangat?
Tapi kan Monoma memang weirdo.
Tak, sebelum ni dia weirdo bodoh tau. Dia macam buat lawak bodoh. Tapi kali ni tak tau. Kali ni dia macam cold. Dia macam like Joker tengah bercakap dengan kau.
Kan. Dia
macam
mungkin ada
weird
split
talk macam tu.
personality lah.
Maybe.
But I don't think he is a villain punya type, sebab he doesn't seem stable enough to be a leader.
I think that's what a villain is, man. Kau tak boleh control. Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang keempat. Plot menarik kita yang keempat adalah backstory tentang Ochako pula. So, ketika mengejar Monoma, Deku telah unleash a new power yang tidak dapat dikawalnya. Ochako melihat ini, mendapat flashback pada saat ini. Ini adalah monolog dia. The first time that I saw someone doing hero work more than the act itself, my eyes were drawn to the expressions of the bystanders. I like how everyone looked so happy. That's why it was normal to help people who were in trouble. But something normal could also be hard. Because I watched him, Deku, fighting desperately to help those in trouble. It made me wonder, who protects the heroes when they are hurting? This is cool. It kind of reminds me of like who watches the Watchmen. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, adakah Ochako sebenarnya kesian dengan Deku dan bukannya in love with him? Apa pendapat kau, Andri? Silakan.
Okay, this is one of the things that I don't like about this episode. I do not like forced shipping by the mangaka. It looks like they're trying to push Ochako and Midoriya. And
Monoma kan the first.
Okay. I don't think even Ochako knows what love is. She's just interested in Midoriya because he was inspirational in his efforts. Remember when he was in the test, he didn't use his powers much. He used his brains, he used his knowledge, he used his passion to fix things. But over time, as she knows him, she became more interested in him. But that's not love. That's just curiosity. I want to know him more. I want to know him better. That's not love. Love is something like, I'm going to die for this person. I don't think that's the level. The backstory was fine, but I think we know her main reason to become a hero. Nak cari duit to help her poor parents. I think it was established a long time ago. Her trying to say, "Oh, I want to help people because I like to see them have happy faces." I don't think that's something of her priority. I think her main priority is, I want to help my parents. Not to work so hard and suffer for me. Kind of mentioned in the previous seasons, while her parents was working hard to the bone, she was actually living her childhood comfortably, and she was aware of this, and she was inside terseksa tau, seeing her loved parents burning their lights out. So she has a awareness on what's going on. So I don't think she's as naive as Deku to become a hero. She's not actually selfish. She just has priorities, and her priorities right now is her parents. So when I see this thing that suddenly she has this macam appreciation for other people, other heroes, I don't quite buy it. I think it's one of those things that mangaka is trying to add, but actually decreases the value as a character. I think it's better for her to become selfish because that's more relatable for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt this was pretty forced as well. Tiba-tiba saya suka tengok orang happy. Aku macam what? Syaz, apa pendapat kau tentang monolog oleh Ochako ni?
Aku langsung tak setuju dengan Henry. Okay, firstly, dari segi the timing of the flashback, I think the pacing was good. Sebab you ingat tak previously episode lepas kan kita pernah discuss, wouldn't it be great right at that critical moment ada flashback kan? So at that point of time aku lebih suka Ochako jadi the person that she is right now with the back story, because yes, it makes her more vanilla, but you see the initial part where dia macam nak bekerja hard to make money so that the parents tak payah nak kerja macam gila lah kan. It's the same part where she wants them to be happy tau. So tak payah nak work so hard and everything. So aku rasa there is an overlap kat situ. Because kalau if she is obsessed about money, she will be more focused on how to make money rather than aku tak nak burden my parents, aka I want them to be happy and not work too hard to make me happy. So dia ada some overlap kat situ. So in this case, yes, aku agree at least with Andri in one point. The revelation tu macam a bit forced lah. Tiba-tiba macam like, oh sebenarnya aku ni. But aku rasa there is tak ada inconsistency kat situ lah. Cuma I think dia memang suka Deku, because kita jangan lupa the concept of love and admiration tends to intermingle masa kita umur budak sekolah ni. Okay, so she might perceive her admiration as love, which to a high school student is probably the same thing lah. However, kalau kita tengok, there is anime proof that dia terbang sampai ke bumbung, when they say like, oh kau suka Deku je like, terus dia fly, and then the way that she looks at Deku is both love/admiration. Cuma aku tak ingat there was one episode ke tak where she said macam like, okay, aku suka dia, but because Deku is very focused on dia punya training, aku kena ada some barrier. Aku tak boleh lah, I like you, jom dating. So dia macam like, aku kena admire him from far for now. Aku tak ingat this episode, but I feel like there was one episode that said this. Yang dia macam, I still like him, but because he's so focused on dia punya goal, I need to like him, I need to grow parallel with him so that aku tak burden him kind of thing. So aku tak tahu nak cakap macam mana. It's like, kau suka dia, tapi kau takut, tapi kau nak grow sekali. So macam like, that might be why Andri kata he might be an inspiration to her. Aku rasa he is growing at the same time, dia punya admiration and dia punya love. Cuma it's just that right now dia tak boleh nak show sangat. So there's one time when I get to hug my babe.
Dia tengah sawan. Aku kena peluk dia sekarang. Dia tengah sawan.
Itulah. So I think the whole part was actually done consistent to the character, but like Henry said, it feels a bit like Ana ambil from nowhere. Ana, this is the character development I want you to see in the 5 minutes je.
So aku nak tanya Henry 200 episod atau chapter ke hadapan, did anything blossom antara Ochako dan juga Deku?
This is my answer.
Okay.
Tak ada lah, that means sedih lah.
Bro, dia kesian je bro. Dia kesian macam, kesian lah Deku ni, kesian.
Dia tak ada lah, aku rasa dia tak kesian lah.
Let me tell you something. If Uraraka really likes Deku, she would be stealing his towels or his clothes and then bau something, have a small sexual perverted inclination of interest. There's nothing happens here. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the ship is going to sail. If they do get married, canon-wise, as a lot of other shippers suka, it'll probably be in the future 20 years if Deku survives in the end.
Did you know, Nick, there is one of the strongest, this Deku x Uraraka dengan Bakugo x Uraraka is one of the hottest debate.
Yes.
Dari segi shipping on who Uraraka should be with tau.
Kenapa Bakugo Uraraka? Yang tu lagi macam
dalam manga banyak. Dalam
Because
manga banyak. Dia orang punya interaction. Dalam manga they have a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
Oh ya ke?
Dalam anime tak tunjuk. Kalau tidak aku pun tak tahu. It's like they were like posting scenes kan. Dia tunjuk first is dia orang punya fight. Where she was the first girl that he acknowledged. Siapa kata dia tu lemah? Where Bakugo had to fight sampai tangan dia ketar kot. When he unleashed that big super blast to stop the meteor or the hail of batu kan. Sampai tangan dia ketar, dia cakap kalau aku lawan lagi mau dekat crank kot tengah aku. So that was one. Two, Uraraka is one of the few people who understands Bakugo and can talk to Bakugo like equal tau. Tapi this was never shown.
Why is it not in the anime?
Because it's a forced partnership lah.
Pelik.
Because it's easier to direct your attention to one relationship than it is to have multiple relationship.
Okay.
Cuba
kita ada satu
aku
komen untuk segmen ni. Uraraka best kot, dia gunakan gun hit martial arts tak macam Momo. Rasanya solo combat one on one mungkin boleh menang. Apa pendapat korang tentang Uraraka versus Momo? Battle prowess.
Uraraka versus Momo.
Oh no, dari segi one on one punya ability dan battle prowess.
If they were to fight lah.
Not each other lah, but comparing apple to apple,
Uraraka is more of a battle support, whereas Momo is more of a support tactician. Dia macam kalau dalam kita punya, kalau Deku is a pure fighter, Uraraka is a fighter / support, and Momo is a support / tactician / magician type. So she is more of a fighter lah. She can fight lah. Tapi masalahnya dia sebab dia tak ada muscle enhancements. Dia tak ada super explosive power. Her ability is not really suitable to fight at superhero punya level, but dia punya martial art training dengan gun hit tu is enough to help her subdue normal criminals, which ultimately is what heroes do a lot of time pun.
Yes. Just like pencopet kat tengah-tengah jalan and stuff like that. Okay, interesting. Dengan itu kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang terakhir. So ini babak menarik yang aku rasa kita dah, unfortunately kita dah bincang awal tadi masa cakap tentang one for all. Sorry, all for one. Tapi ya, dalam selepas disambut oleh Ochako, dia menyuruh Shinso untuk brainwash Deku untuk mengawal keadaan. Ini membawa Deku ke alam roh vestiges one for all. Di situ satu roh berkata kepadanya, "We said you're not alone. The time is right. it's manifested. The power you just used was my quirk, Blackbeard. Our quirk factors mix in with the core of the power, the tiny core that's always been part of One for All. A tiny spot in the middle of flickering flames or on the surface of billowing waves. The origin of the power is wrapped in the cultivated power. Right now, it's becoming larger and starting to move. What you saw between fluctuations, One for All itself, is growing. After going through 8 people, One for All has become extremely strong. You will have 6 more quirks manifest in you. Okay, betul lah, 2/7. Control your heart and master using all of us. You're the one who will complete One for All. So, soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah yang sudah manifested? Mengapakah kuasa 8 pengguna One for All terkumpul dalam Deku sekarang? Dan adakah Deku the only pengguna tanpa kuasa? I guess kita dah terjawab. All Might pun adalah pengguna tanpa kuasa. But yeah, what has been manifested? Maksudnya, masa Nana tu dia cakap, the time hasn't come yet. Sekarang, Mamat ni cakap, the time is right. It has manifested. So, what the fuck has manifested? And yeah, apakah pendapat korang? Silakan Syaz.
Aku rasa the first of all, the cultivation power is something that is always there lah. So kita akan ignore that part lah. The part that the One for All power akan cultivate and grow stronger, kita akan ignore. It will be quite sad if that was what he meant lah. That you done, 2 out of 7, one of it is your ability, to cultivate power. Which might also be true lah, because it could have cultivated all the enhancement abilities of the rest of the users. Tapi aku rasa enhancement ability tu datang daripada Nana or All Might.
I mean, bukankah ni teori kau tahun lepas kita tengok movie? Kalau kita tengok balik review kau masa film, kau cakap, oh ya, All for One ni sebenarnya bukanlah kuasa yang kita tahu. Tapi sebenarnya dia ambil sedikit kuasa daripada semua orang. You said that like 12 months ago, man. And sekarang jadi betul. Aku macam...
Tak, because it's simple. There is no reason for them to show so many people and not refer back to it. And kalau you tengok, masa tu kalau tak silap I mention, the reason why dalam movie ketiga ke kedua tu, the one that yang diorang Bakugo dapat and dia punya power pun exploded because one of the users has an enhancement ability. Or mungkin the core itself, One for All punya ability itself, dia boleh enhance the abilities of the users naturally tau.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's why all of the abilities become quite strong. So when it landed in Bakugo, the temporary transfer tu, that's why dia punya explosion power went to the point sampai boleh melt all the batu-batu and everything, cause that mega explosion kat ujung tu kan. So aku rasa one of the things which is inherent dalam One for All ni is the fact that it can enhance a lot of things. That's why Deku can move very fast, he can hit very hard. To the point where tangan dia boleh sampai jadi bengkak semua kan, because dia tak boleh nak control the inherent power that is stored inside One for All. So the rest of the powers,
sebelum ni kita ingat is because dia tak boleh tampung kuasa All Might, because All Might was the one yang buff dan kuat, right? Yep. But turns out it's not just kuasa All Might sekarang, kau ada lagi 7 orang punya kuasa lagi that he has to master now. Dengan Black Week lah, dengan
that was the most interesting question tau. All Might is quirkless, tapi dia ada muscle form. You cuba fikir, mana ada orang in real life ada muscle form?
Yeah.
Tiba-tiba macam, kalau macam kata kita kan, inilah muscle form aku diri tegak. And that's it lah. But dia kan, boom, terus grow like 1 or 2 feet extra, masuk penuh, and not just that, dia punya power level increase gila-gila. Aku tak pernah tengok dia tumbuk dia punya Texas Smash dalam dia punya normal form. only in its muscle form. So maybe lah, the one for all over time, sebab dia perak paling lama kan, it allows him to, bila dia flex macam tu, secara tak langsung he call upon the ability to enhance his physical attribute to the point where he can boom, muscle semua jadi besar. So aku rasa itu je lah. So going back to that, which is why Black Whip kata there's 6 more users, mungkin the original ability of one for all is also enhancement. You enhance the natural physical stats of the user.
Ini macam satu gatal dekat otak tapi kau tak boleh garu pasal kau ada kepala. It's so annoying, man. It's so annoying, yeah. Andri, apakah pendapat kau sebagai seorang pembaca manga?
I think the muscle form for All Might comes from one of the other users that's not seen from Black Whip lah, basically. I think it's his. I'm not certain if this is true, but have you seen long time ago before Astro came to be in Malaysia, we have this Mega TV. They have this channel AXN. They show a lot of anime shows. One of the anime is Flame of Reka.
Yep.
Yeah, and one of the angles kan the hero, dia inherit like 8 dragons inside his body. So every time for him to unlock one of the dragons inside his body, he has to defeat them. Coming back to My Hero Academia, I think it's similar to that sort of plot actually. Not the previous user minus Midoriya, they can only unlock like 1 or 2. All Might probably has the enhancing ability and maybe the muscle form, which is probably one of the previous users. But Midoriya sekarang ni he has 2 now, the enhancement and the Black Whip. What Black Whip cakap is, okay, you can talk to the other previous user. You can possibly use all of the previous user. That's something that has never been done before. So instead of 2, he could probably use 8 out of 8 or 7 out of 8, which is actually 2 or 3 times better than the previous performance history for the all for one for all punya user.
Okay, soalannya is All for One's brother one of the 8 powers? Pasal dia tak ada power kan?
Dia tak ada power, yeah.
So he wouldn't be in the vestiges, right?
He wouldn't be. He's in the vestiges. Kan he's the one who talked to Deku first, right?
Oh.
During this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Masa mimpi tu.
Yeah, he showed the history of one for what happened.
Okay, faham. Then kalau teori kau All for One is one of the vestiges, then if he control all or gain control of all, wouldn't he also be All for One? Aku dah pening kan sekarang.
It could be macam it is just a theory. All for One probably has some sort of like macam malware punya tactic. He just
supaya dia tak boleh
he just give him the powers so that he could take it back at the end. So that's my take on this lah. What else lah nak cakap? I know reading the current manga, Deku has been using new powers and be talking to the other previous users, so that's something to look about. So this theory Brazil for me memang dah confirm, but I'm not going to show you the other powers.
Okay.
But I wouldn't trust Black Whip punya words 100%. To his knowledge, he said you can talk to the other you can talk to the other 8 users, but Black Whip, that was his spirit, not the actual person. He didn't actually experience that his soul is not there. It's just his spirit. Dia punya macam design that's being copied and pasted by the all for one punya
Yeah.
powers.
Personality imprint lah. Dia macam imprint
Personal-
dia tu.
Yeah, the personal imprint is probably taken and put inside there, and this is just his limited knowledge being accessible to Deku. Maybe there are some information that's incorrect, so maybe he said, okay, maybe we can use all 8 powers, but he didn't know that the first user was the first user is Quirkless, yang adik kepada one for all for one. So if he can actually gain knowledge from the other previous users, he should have said the 7 other powers. But he thought that's 8 users, so there'll be 8 powers. But we all know that the first user is Quirkless. So don't take everything these messages say at face value. They only say things that they can actually comprehend and what they were told about, because none of them actually, macam Nana punya case kan, she had dreams of the vestiges, but she didn't actually talk to them macam Deku did now. I mean, macam kalau Deku cakap dengan all these people macam satu patah perkataan kan, Nana probably heard like 5 words and then that's about it. So there you go.
Okay, interesting.
Dia aku rasa kan kalau kita boleh compare dengan fiction lain which is Harry Potter. Bila diorang some of the headmasters, bila diorang meninggal, they become portrait. So all the knowledge that they have at that point of time is there. But as time goes on, their knowledge does not update. Or not updated as fast or whatever lah. So dia orang punya spirit imprinted dalam one for all, just like Harry Potter punya ni. So they have knowledge on their own, what they are good at and everything. And basically aku rasa yang Andri mentioned tu is because all of the vestiges are also aware of each other dalam the entire pocket tu.
Yeah.
That's why dia cakap kau boleh sembang with the rest, but the part yang for us teori Brazil lah, sebab Andri dah baca manga kan. For us,
the
next 2 things aku nak tengok is how is he going to unlock the rest of the powers, and then 2, can he combine multiple powers? That will be the part that
actually Black Whip ada cakap jaga hati kau. Isn't that one of the lines? Control your heart and master using all of us.
Itu trigger untuk Black Whip tu.
Ya, pasal dia kata anger.
That was
maksudnya emosi lah.
Black Whip punya ability, but what are the other triggers? Mungkin the other triggers is that mungkin contoh mungkin there is a power that kena trigger if you must be kind hearted macam Ochako. Oh, aku kesian budak ni, aku kena selamatkan dia. Who saves the heroes? Barulah the ability come out. So kita tak tahu.
Oh my god, tu dah macam Care Bear ataupun Green Lantern, where you have 7 or 9 different colours, all of them tied to one emotion. Willpower, greed, avarice,
sebab dia
last
might have
passion,
different triggers lah.
Maybe Bakugo lah, apa Midoriya dapat new power after he lost his virginity or something. You never know.
Pasal passion.
Dia bukan Black Whip.
Aduh, okay, kita ada beberapa komen dari penonton di rumah yang ni Iqbal Lee suruh Andri tengok overlay ni. Okay, aku akan bacakan Andri, tengok gambar vestiges yang kuning tu. Bukan ke rambut All Might tu? Rambut versi All Might kurus. Macam mana? Okay, sekarang aku tutup overlay. Kau tengok overlay, aku tutup komen lah. See that guy that's burning bright and yellow? Does he have that same trademark All Might hair? Aku tak nampak tu. Ada.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm not convinced.
Okay. Apa pendapat kau, Iqbal?
Lagipun All Might is still alive, so
ya, itulah orang yang hidup susahlah kau nak imprint spirit kau dalam aku tak sure juga next category
maybe that's All for One masa dia muda. Maybe he has the same hairstyle. You never know.
Could be also lah.
Interesting. Catherine the Great mengatakan, ingatkan waktu Deku nak tembak Monoma, tangan dia meletup sampai All Might mind break. Yeah, All Might had this like macam spider sense happening behind him. Masa that same moment tiba-tiba dia macam Nana kata time has
itu
come.
dia punya hero senses over 40 years of being
using
hero.
that same power, right?
Intuition, I think.
Something might happen ni. Because dia dah because they are watching live kan.
Yes.
Which is actually satu point yang kita lupa nak discuss. The fact that ini aku predicted 1 or 2 episodes earlier kot, that Deku akan be so triggered, he'll be so stressed where he lose control and one of the powers akan dia punya power akan evolve somehow lah. So in this case it became the Black Whip lah. And it only happened because Monoma duk cucuk. Kau ingat kau hebat? Lepas tu mamak ni? Lepas tu macam mana kau kawan bakuku? Bukan dia yang buat ni ke? Bukan ni ke? Sampai member tu dah hangin tau. So the rage triggered it. Like that was the trigger to unleash dia punya all for one punya ability, and the Black Whip was the ability that was most suitable at that point of time.
Yes. Nak tangkap a moving target. So that's why,
Itulah.
Kategori menambah ya. Adakah kuasa one for all kena ikut mood user? Sebab Black Whip datang sebab ketika Deku nak tangkap Monoma ketika marah.
Yes, this one
I
comes
think
back
that is
to
our working theory for now, kan?
that mungkin each power has a trigger condition for them to unlock first. Oh, dia dah panggil kau senpai, bro.
Senpai.
Tapi kan, the interesting point is why Deku was among the people who could unlock all of it. This one is a different theory, Brazil lah. Is the fact that he was able to achieve perfect calm tau. You tengok the times when he meet up with the vestiges, first masa dia kena brainwash by Shinso,
First day.
version 1, brainwash dengan Shinso, version kedua, masa dia tengah mimpi, all are times when he's completely calm. That's why he can see the vestiges. Whereas all the other heroes mungkin tak pernah ada moments of calm because they're so active being a hero.
Okay.
So
Maksudnya masa subconscious kau take over, masa tu lah kau boleh jumpa vestige. Maksudnya you're unconscious lah in a sense, right?
Correct. So if you think about it, All Might is always, let's go, I am here. Sampai ringtone pun, I am here.
Betul.
So mungkin he's so active, and then dia pun tak fikir that, you need to step back, meditate sikit. I mean, he's not stupid. Dia punya intellect semua is quite high.
Cuma masa dia guna kuasa, he's always active. Because he's like a Shazam.
Dia tak ada macam fikir and everything. And then dia pun tak pernah stress except lawan dengan all for one je lah. That was the only time he betul-betul sampai dia especially masa dia review Shigaraki is anak cucu Nanaka, dia terus I need to see that episode again.
Man.
That was macam Andy kata, that was the best fight in anime tau. Sebab it's not just a power tau. It's like everything you have fought for was a lie. Whoa.
Jeng.
And the moment he nearly collapsed and lost tau. It's like
betul. Itu bukan tumbukan fizikal, itu tumbukan ke bola di kepala kau. It's like a mental ball jab.
Itulah.
Sakit ke? Okay, komen seterusnya daripada Muhammad Haziq. Dia katakan, boleh kata Midoriya ni macam Steve Rogers lah. Orang yang berjiwa suci bila dapat power. Apa pendapat korang? Aku rasa dia paling muda kot. Kau tengok semua vestiges tu, yang tua, yang dewasa, dia student. Dia yang paling the first one yang student.
Tak, aku rasa sebenarnya sebab dia tu virgin. So that's why they say, oh, the time is now. You know, dia belum ada apa-apa mimpi pelik-pelik, dia tak boleh dating lagi. Mana kita tahu apa ni All Might punya dating escapades kan, hidup dia sebagai orang handsome. Takkanlah satu girl pun tak pernah dating kan. And then the rest of them pun kita tak tahu. We know for a fact Nana ada anak sebab dia ada cucu.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the time lah. Of course, ni teori Brazil gila kan.
Okay. Komen terakhir untuk segmen ini agak off topic ya. Dia nak Zia nak tanya, adakah BuzzPOP akan cover Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 yang akan masuk Netflix Khamis ini? Oh shit, dah Khamis ni ke? Season 1 pun aku tak tengok lagi. Adakah aku boleh tengok season 1 di Netflix? Kami akan cuba cover. I think for the past 3 minggu aku dah cuba mencari team untuk Jujutsu Kaisen. So far kita ada satu panelis, iaitu member kita orang Jamal Raslan. Dia tengah nak cari member lagi. Andri, are you watching Jujutsu Kaisen?
Sadly, I heard a lot of good things about Jujutsu Kaisen, but I haven't even watched first episode of season 1 because there's a lot of anime for that particular season yang I was watching instead.
Understandable.
Yeah.
How many episodes is season 1?
I think it's like 13 episodes.
Senang je aku nak marathon weekend ni.
13 or 26, something like that lah. I'm not sure how far it goes. I think it's 13 episodes. I'm not certain. I think it's that long. Because if it's season 2 now, I think it's 13 episodes.
Ni, Anosia obviously watches it. Can Anosia be a panelist?
Anusia, kalau berminat boleh DM aku di Facebook ataupun WhatsApp ya. Kau boleh cari WhatsApp aku dekat BuzzPOP.
Confirm dia minat. Kalau tidak dia takkan tanya soalan ni.
Betul. Tapi I think Jamal dengan satu member dia dah ons. So aku nak macam ni lah, a minimum group of 3 orang dah cukup setiap minggu. But
itulah kan, tengok keadaan lah.
Tengok keadaan. Kita akan cuba cover most likely setiap hari Sabtu. Babi ya. Just like 6 show seminggu. 6 show seminggu, tapi kita akan cuba. Kalau aku sempat marathon by hari Khamis ni. Kita tengok macam mana. Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke segmen terakhir kita untuk malam ini. Korang nampak overlay? Aku tak nampak lagi overlay. Okay, jadi segmen terakhir kita malam ini adalah harapan kami bagi episod minggu depan. So harapan aku adalah I look forward to, because the match did not end cikgu tu macam nak stop dah, macam tak apa, biar kita boleh teruskan. So I look forward to Deku dan timnya menangani Shinso dan Monoma dalam battle number 5 yang masih belum berakhir. Andri, what's your hopes for the episode this weekend?
I hope the match will be concluded next episode. But honestly, I think if Monoma tak serang Deku after he calm down, probably the teachers would disqualify class 1A because of excessive force from Midoriya. Because
tapi dia tak boleh control, babe.
Dia tak boleh control. He went amok. Dia mengamuk apa, and people could have died basically. Dia bantai building macam pijak busut semut danai or something like that. It's too dangerous to be considered training. Just imagine kalau class 1B kan kena hempuk by those powers, right? They would be kecai, tak jumpa badan.
Tapi kita punya kelas leader Ida kena hempap dengan tower. Relax je.
Yeah, a tower, but Midoriya took out like what, 20 towers? It's a different story. Yeah.
I don't think they akan disqualify directly lah. It's more
they won't disqualify now because Monoma serang. I think he wanted to keep the ball rolling so that they can win this by a decisive decision instead of a disqualification. And Shinso was actually with that idea. Dia tak nak menang without defeating Midoriya. So next episode, I hope we have a conclusion. I hope we have a showdown between Midoriya and Shinso, and I hope either we have some small scene where Midoriya and Ochako interact and confirm if there's any romantic tendencies or not. Just give us something to settle our curiosity.
Aku rasa kan this is like reverse Invincible. Yang Invincible tu kan siapa tu, ayah dia Omni-Man looks at the wife as a pet. Yang ni terbalik. Yang ni Ochako looks at Midoriya as a pet.
It would be cool if Momo jumpa Ochako, right? Think, Ochako, think. Are you in love with this asshole or not? You're spending too much time thinking of it.
Think.
Think, Ochako.
Okay, Shaz, aku dah tanya kau dah harapan untuk episod minggu depan. Tak kan?
Belum.
Silakan Shaz.
Aku honestly aku harap Deku kalah. Serius. Tapi kan aku harap dia kalah dengan Shinso. I mean Andri dah tahu the result, but I'm hoping that Deku, because dia dah takut, dia pun dalam the teaser pun dia cakap I cannot use the power, I'm scared. So it will be a learning episode untuk Deku that you must still be a hero even without your power. And that can only be done kalau Shinso kalahkan dia, and Shinso can move to the class. Tapi kan, kalau tak silap aku, dia orang ada tunjuk Shinso kecewa. So aku tak tahu lah. Macam mungkin Shinso kalah kot. Sebab ada kan towards the end of the teaser tu kan dia tunjuk Shinso tengah macam like pusing-pusing dengan tali, dia macam sedih. Lepas tu Aizawa pun datang. Aku rasa mungkin what is going to happen is they will have their fight. Shinso mungkin almost menang. But sebab dia punya the rest of the team kalah, so mungkin dia kalah lah. That means he is not yet at the level he wants to be, but he might qualify lah. Actually that is my harapan. I hope next week they will reveal that Shinso boleh masuk hero punya kelas. That is my harapan.
Kelas B, supaya dia lepak semeja dengan Monoma setiap hari.
Tu lah kan. Wow, that will be hilarious.
Itu lah kan. Okay, kita ada beberapa komen dari penonton di rumah. Satu daripada Anozia clarify bahawa Jujutsu Kaisen yang nak masuk Netflix itu season 1 sahaja. Season 2 belum keluar lagi. Okay, kerana season 1 dah lepas, i.e. orang dah tengok tahun lepas, kalau orang follow week by week, therefore kita orang tak akan cover. Kita orang akan cover season 2 nanti. So baguslah ada masa untuk aku nak kejar season 1 secara halal di Netflix. So I look forward to that. Kemudian kategori The Great menambah bahawa selepas menonton 24 episod Jujutsu Kaisen, dia masih tak faham what it's about. I look forward to equally being confused starting from this Thursday. Dan dia menambah, adakah Deku akan guna Black Whip dalam battle number 5? Apakah spekulasi kau, Shaz? Macam dia buat dapat kot. Takkan dia nak guna balik kan? Yeah.
Because the sebagai budak kita jangan lupa, sebagai adult kita orang boleh recover from shock and trauma dengan cepat. This is especially important kalau kita main card game kan. Kalau kena reversal besar-besaran, kita like but we have to recover fast. As a kid, kita kadang-kadang lupa dia orang ni budak umur berapa, 16 ke 17 tahun.
Something like that.
So they are around that age. So dia orang ni, bila the fact that he almost lost control and the official relationship dengan Ochako make him, oh my god, they hurt you and whatnot. So, and the fact that he really lost control tau. Sampai dia nak jawab Shinso pun macam like, no, I don't think he's going to use Black Whip. Dia tak berani. In fact, he'll probably discuss dengan All Might dulu. All Might macam like, aku tak ada power ni, kau dapat dari mana? Like this is nonsense.
Betul. Interesting. Okay, dengan itu aku rasa berakhirlah episod minggu ini. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kerana meluangkan masa. Dan terima kasih juga kepada para menonton. Apakah pendapat korang untuk episod minggu lepas dan apakah harapan korang bagi episod this weekend? Tell us in the comment section below. Dengan itu, majulah fandom untuk negara. See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.